Welcome to this week's episode of Hotter Than Health. My name is Eliza Gelman. Welcome. Really happy you're here this week. This is a solo episode. The last two episodes, we did a part 1 and a part 2 with Brittany Carden. If you have not listened to those episodes, they are entertaining. We talk about heartbreak. We talk about losing friendships in your 30s. We talk about gut health. We talk about conspiracy theories. Her thoughts on some controversial subjects. And really, we just have an open dialogue. She was an open book, very raw and real. And we're super grateful that she was able to open up and we were able to have this conversation, even though she's long distance and all the way in Montana. But this week's episode, we are catching up to where life is currently and what is going on in the wellness world. And I think that this episode is going to be specifically helpful if you are just like me, a woman in your 30s, a single woman. Yeah, there you go. Woman in your 30s. And I'm excited. We're going to talk about seasonal allergies and a couple of fixes that I was having epiphany after epiphany writing these notes for today's episode. Seasonal allergies. Then talking about ways to connect in community that is less conventional. And then also going into, what else are we going into? I have it in my notes. Oh, and then a mini wellness recommendation. I'm going to try and sprinkle in some wellness recommendations each week, either things that I've tested for a while or things that I've ordered or whatever it is. Without further ado, let's begin by addressing the giant yellow elephant in the room if you are below the Mason-Dixon line, or if you are in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, wherever you're listening in the United States, it's April and it's early April, meaning we are swimming in pollen. We are swimming in pollen. I know I'm a broken record. Everyone's complaining about the pollen, da-da-da-da-da. I get it. Pollen is wreaking havoc on all of our sinuses. It's on all of our cars. It's all over the place. Like, it's to the point, at least in Charlotte, North Carolina, where I am. It is to the point where most of the pollen has fallen. There you go. The pollen's fallen and it's started to accumulate. It's now in piles. You're seeing these pools of dried out pollen on the ground. Everything is covered in what once was like a nice, lovely spring Easter yellow is now this brown, dark orange, gets in your hair. If you're walking underneath a tree and you have a ponytail, you better believe that you're going to have pollen strands hanging out of your ponytail for the remainder of the day. But that's where we are. This year is the first year where I have not been affected at all. Knock on wood. I believe that if I were to be affected, I would have been affected by now. But we'll get into it. Again, knock on wood. So seasonal allergies affect a ton of people. I fully understand this, and most people who consistently get affected by seasonal allergies, they do preventative work. They are taking Zyrtec or they're taking some type of prescription allergy meds to get ahead of it, because it's not just your nose is running or your eyes are itching. It's you feel like you're in a fog. You actually feel like you can't focus. You feel a little more lethargic. You just feel run down and raggedy and really hazy, and it disrupts your life. It's not what we want. It throws off workout routines. It throws off nutrition because you can't taste anything. You're constantly rubbing your eyes, and then you have sunscreen on, hopefully, and then that's it's just it's chaotic. This is the first year, and every single year I was having an epiphany. What I was saying earlier is typically I'm affected for only a couple of days with allergies each year, but I get so reluctant to even admit that it's allergies. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm affected by April to March allergies for only a few days every single year. But when I do, it's bad. I'm like, eyes are super dry. They're runny. My nose is runny. I can't breathe. I'm sneezing every 2 seconds and it's obnoxious, but I always know it goes away. The biggest difference that I made this year, I have, like I said, not been affected whatsoever. I think I've sneezed twice all of April and March. And that's also because of photic sneezing like in the sun. If you know, you know. The biggest difference that I made this year is I have been sleeping with an air purifier in my room. I've been sleeping with an air purifier in my room, and I've been doing this consistently, not just right before allergy season, but I bought one. There's been a lot of transitions happening in my life. So there was a period of time where I wasn't sleeping in a bed, like in my own bed, or in a, don't even matter. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I wasn't sleeping in my bed. So I bought an air purifier, and because it was like a new home, new space, it was a bit older, and I just knew if there was one thing I could do to help support my immune system when I knew it was super low because of anxiety and stress, I got an air purifier. That is the only measurable thing that I have done over the past 6 months that I believe has made the biggest difference. And there has been a lot of transition in my life. I think that if allergies were to have affected me at any point in my entire life, it would have been this season. Not only have I been spending more time outside, but I've been traveling more. Like for the past 4 weeks, I've been traveling. So happy to be doing it. But there's been a lot of back and forth. There's been high stress. My immune system, I know, has been suppressed. And the biggest thing that I've done is have that air purifier. The air purifier that I got, because I wanted to make sure I put this in there. The air purifier that I got, holy links everywhere. I'm going to put the links in my show notes. It is just called a Afolia. I think it's just called the Afolia. Let me be better about podcasting. Oh, the Afloya air purifier for home, large room, bedroom, laser air quality sensor. It's good for pets, dander, pollen, allergies, dust, mold, smoke, odor. I am very into it. I thought that it would make that big of a difference. I thought it was going to be more of a placebo effect. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, this, if I could laser focus why I have not been affected by seasonal allergies this entire year, it is because anytime I have slept in Charlotte in the past almost 6 months, every night that I've been here, I have used this air purifier. I live by it. It is only $89, and I know that it's not a drop in the bucket, but when you compare it to some of the ones that I'm getting, I'll listen to other podcasts and they're like, oh, use this home air purifier, and I'll look it up and it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and I totally understand the value and the worth. I definitely do. However, if you are just wanting to focus on one area of your room or of your house, this is the place to start. Highly recommend. It's not a crazy eyesore. Mine is white. You can put it on a night mode so that the lights on it aren't on. There's a little screen, and it almost gives the teeniest purr of the fan so that you are getting a little bit of white noise as you sleep as well. I am obsessed with this. I think it's been the number one contributor to why I have not gotten allergies this season, and I wish I had a discount code for y'all. I don't. But that's really what I can boil not getting my seasonal allergies down to. Now, if you haven't been so lucky, I understand that as well. If you have not been this lucky, a few things that I know would and could be beneficial. Obviously, if you are already in the pits with your seasonal allergies, sometimes you just gotta muscle through it. Like, we will get through it. Only a couple more weeks, I think we're going to get a huge rainstorm in the next week or two. I think it's going to flush away a ton of pollen, and then we're going to be able to breathe, and we're not going to have everything covered. And then it's just going to be hot. Then we're just skipping straight to summer. That's my prediction. It's a prediction because it basically happens every year. That's my thought. But if you would like to combat some of the seasonal allergy feelings that you have right now, a couple of things that I would personally do and I've done in the past is get this air filter, because no matter what, like it's going to be beneficial for you either way. The air filter, a neti pot, which is one of those people have thoughts about neti pots. We're not going to get into the controversy of neti pots. People are like, oh, brain-eating amoebas. Yes, absolutely. That sounds horrific. Use filtered water. Make sure it's not hot or too cold. Like there's some preventative measures you can take to make sure you're doing the right thing. Have good saline, have, a completely sterile environment, da 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 da. But a neti pot, when you shoot the water up your nasal cavity and you are congested, and if you're the type of congested where you the nose can't stop running, it's constantly running, and it's just, like thin mucus, you can't stop. You're walking around with the toilet Kleenex all the time. Or it's to the point where you're only breathing out of one nostril. The other nostril is just feeling super sensitive, and it's cold and it's painful. It's uncomfortable when you breathe. You're having trouble sleeping. You're just constantly phlegmy and disgusting. Ain't nothing better than a neti pot. Get a neti pot. And I like to do it in the shower because you're already in that steam. Your nasal passages are already starting to open up. And even if that isn't clinically what's happening, it still feels like it. And then you can really just get in there. You just go full on half the bottle through one nostril, out the other, and then blow your nose. It is the best, most satisfying feeling. It feels like weight loss for your face. I don't know another way to put it, but if you've had a satisfying neti pot situation, wow. It's also a great way to tell if you have a deviated septum. I had a friend in Charleston who he had broken his nose and had such a deviated septum, structural damage, that he couldn't even use the neti pot. We're like, okay, stop using it because it'll shoot right into your brain. Not really, but he couldn't even use it. It's a good way to tell if things are running properly up there as well. The next thing would be, from a supplement standpoint, would be probiotics. Making sure that you are arming yourself with good bacteria, and you don't want to go too far with, eating a ton of bee pollen and doing things that are going to give you some of the allergens, because what we don't want to do is exacerbate what's already there. And if a probiotic is going to be something that if you feel allergies coming on, it might be a good time to start taking it. There's thousands of different probiotic brands. I'm not going to recommend any specifically right now because it may just be something that you want to take seasonally. But people end up liking taking probiotics anyways for multiple reasons. But having good and prosperous gut flora would be a good thing to have going on in your court right now. All right, here's the fourth thing. We've talked about it before. You've seen it all over Instagram, like Skinny Confidential. You'll see Helen Hall from Blender Bombs. There's a ton of different people who have really strongly advocated for this, but I'm going to give you the twofold approach. I believe that in conjunction with having the air filter and just breathing in clean air, having mouth tape. Sleeping with mouth tape at night. We're going to get into all of the things that we hear about, why we aren't mouth taping, da da da. Mouth taping, I believe, would be so beneficial for seasonal allergies if you are, one, trying to prevent them, or two, you're starting to feel them come along, but it's not super bad yet and you can still breathe through your nose. But I think that even things like your nose hairs, you're designed to have hairs in your nose as a physical filtration system and barrier. We don't have that in our mouth. I have this thing where I can't breathe through my mouth in a public restroom. I have to squeeze my nostrils together basically to make sure that I'm not getting any weird bathroom bacteria. I've been like that forever. I won't take any open container, any open water bottle. I'll have someone else watch it for me in the airport unless I'm traveling alone. I will put an open coffee in my bag. I'm not exaggerating. It's that disgusting to me. Having nose hairs is a physical barrier, so you are getting that extra filtration. There's other benefits for mouth tape, but for clarity purposes, we're just talking about it for preventing and helping to aid with your body processing pollen and different allergens. But I do think that if you are to the point where you're still breathing through your nose, you can still breathe, having a mouth tape, there's tons of mouth tape that if you're claustrophobic, there's options. You can cut a little slice or hole in the middle so that if you ever needed to, which you can at any point, if you ever needed to breathe through your mouth, you can, so you're less claustrophobic. Some mouth tapes are stronger than others. I use just a medical grade tape. I'll put this in the show notes as well. I just ordered this is I think the third time I've ordered this specific kind, and it's super simple. It's basically just a Nexcare Stronghold. It's like 3 millimeters for sensitive skin. I use this every single night. And when I say I use it every single night, I'm not exaggerating. I travel with it. I put it everywhere. I actually put it on my forehead because I haven't been doing Botox. Like, I'll put it on my crow's feet to reduce fine lines when I'm sleeping. Mouth tape has really helped with my sleep. It helps me wind down. It helps to regulate your nervous system and keep things. Breathing through your nose is like a really healthy way to continuously regulate your nervous system and keep you in that. It helps to aid keeping you in a in a parasympathetic calm state. Okay, those are my recommendations for seasonal allergies, how to prevent, not just how to prevent, but these are just what I've done. Again, I'm not a doctor, talk to your doctor, but I'm my own guinea pig, and these are the things that have worked for me. The next topic I wanted to jump into is something that we've been seeing, we as in myself and most people, and if you're on social media, likelihood you have seen this as well, especially as the weather becomes more and more perfect and gorgeous. In Charlotte, one of the biggest things that I have seen in community building is run clubs. And before you say, oh my gosh, eye roll, we're not doing run clubs, it's the dumbest thing ever, it's so cringe, it's so blah, 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 generalizing, and you're going to put everyone into one category. Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Here's the thing. I don't typically, when I talk to people about run clubs, and by the way, I don't belong to a run club. I've done probably 3 in my whole life. And I mean 3 separate occasions, never consistently, never woken up early, met up with girlfriends, went and did a 3-mile run, then started the day. I haven't done that. I'd love to be one of those people. It's just not something I've been super consistent with because my travel schedule and my work schedule, things have made it inconsistent, and I've just made excuses. Now, the Charlotte Run Club community is something I've never seen before. And I know it's because Charlotte's growing. I'm super close to South End in Charlotte, which is the mecca for socializing and food and bev, walkability. Everyone's young, has a dog, and is hip and cool, and dresses better than me. It's just a good little place to be. Charlotte Run Clubs, God bless you. It is such a cool time to see culture within 20s, 30s, 40-year-olds who want to go out and be social, but also it's not a one-off situation. It looks like the type of environment where you would go very vulnerably. I would go by myself, go vulnerably and say, it's 6 a.m. It's also not the time when people are chitting and chatting. It's not the time when people are cheersing with their drinks and they're all happy hour, socially lubricated. That's not the case. I would walk up alone, likely see a little group of girls and say, hey guys, I've never been here before. Have you been here? And whether or not people who go to run clubs, they're just going to be nice. You might get a one-off person who has RBF or who isn't super talkative, or maybe they just are nervous as well. And it's it's not about you. It's about them just being nervous as well. But if you're going to a run club, plan to run into nice people. Nice people may also not want to be up that early. And if you're already thinking that I've heard about run clubs, but I'm not a runner, or I've got a bad knee, or I'm not a morning person, this is one of those little sacrifices that I feel would propel you into groups of friends. And if you're looking for a significant other, like at least lead you towards people and places with generally good values, morals, and discipline. And again, you could also run into people like me who show up every 3 months and think that I'm doing something. I'm not saying everyone is like that. I'm not saying only good people go to run clubs, but you are doing something early in the morning, which means they're disciplined. It's something social, which means you all have a commonality of wanting something in community. You are all focusing on your health and like your emotional and mental well-being. You all already have something in common. So if you're thinking that you're someone who isn't the type of person, quote unquote, to go to run club, or the type of person who would thrive there, or the type of person who, whatever the excuse is, you already are. If you're already considering it, you already are wanted there, welcomed, and would be so supported by going to something like that. I've actually, a couple of the times that I've gone, I ended up running with a couple of different groups. There were times where I wanted to go slower, sometimes that I wanted to go faster. There were also people that just showed up and wanted to walk. And if you want to walk, I know there's some places that have 2, 3, 4, 5 mile loops that they have leaders running. And if you want to start with a 2 mile loop, run for 3 minutes, walk for 3 minutes. And I mean, run slow. Like, I'm a 10-minute miler. That feels fine for me. But if you're someone who just wants to be around a different environment, I think it's fun. I was actually at church this morning, and the pastor, he referenced a part in the Bible that talked about discipline, and I can't remember where it was. I'd have to look this back up, but the message was, those who are disciplined are actually the most free. And the way I heard him speak about this was, he said that those who are disciplined, it's not that they don't have the same desires as everybody else. It's not that they don't have the same emotions or feelings or reluctancies. The people who are disciplined are the most free because, not without question, but for the most part, they just understand and then execute on what is right from wrong. They utilize their knowledge and wisdom over feelings, which I really liked. If you are looking for some type of motivation, going to run clubs, I think, would give you that edge of motivation, but then surround you with disciplined people. And look, I'm someone who definitely, like, I have to feed off of other people's discipline sometimes. I sometimes have to go and look back at different times in my life where I was reluctant to go do something, but then I did it and I felt so much better. Sometimes it's okay. Actually, anytime you want, lean on other people's discipline to find motivation. I believe that you can manufacture motivation. Excuse me. I feel like you can manufacture motivation with anything in your life. If you're thinking, I want to make more money, then honestly, listen to a podcast on getting promotions, on investing, on how to save better, on whatever you're doing, or how to 10x your money. Go listen to, if you're wanting to get fit, like, you can find a motivational podcast that will get you up, and it will, if anything, it'll just make you pick out your workout clothes at night so that there's one less barrier to entry for success in the morning. But the reason I think run clubs are great is this could be a run club. It could be a walk club. It could be a lunge club. It could be a everyone do jumping jacks club. It's less about the what it is, more about the what it's doing. Love the Charlotte Run Club community. I plan on going to a few within my neighborhood soon. I will keep you posted on which ones I'm going to. And if you're like, oh, I just don't know where to go, literally go on Instagram, go on Axios, go on anywhere online and just type in Charlotte or Charleston or Georgia or wherever you are, run club. You will find it. It will either be in the morning or at night, so there's really no excuse. And a lot of the times they're at 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m., so you have time to go straight from work or go before work. But find community, find people with the discipline. If you're needing that motivation, borrow it. Truly borrow it. I loved the message in that one portion of church this morning. One last thing I wanted to get into before we wrap up today's episode was my wellness recommendation for the week. I am not reinventing the wheel here. This is not anything you've never heard before. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm telling you, I have seen, sorry, quick tangent. I've seen 15 people on runs who are fit around our age. Guys, people are everywhere. There's girls and guys running. There's people running with kids, people running with their husbands, people running alone, people running with podcasts, people running without music. Like, there are so many people everywhere running all the time. We will prevail. Thank you, run clubs. Coming from someone who's been a 3 in my whole life, so passionate about something I'm not even a part of yet. But the wellness recommendation is not reinventing the wheel. It's things that you've likely even heard me say before. But as I mentioned and alluded to earlier in the episode, I haven't been doing Botox. It's been, 8 months since I've done Botox, which is great for me. It's really nothing more than, one, it's expensive, so I wanted to see how I could work on face muscles and fine lines without it. So I've really deep dived into a skincare routine and working on that as opposed to simply going to get Botox. And I didn't decide to do this for the money. It's more of a experimental thing. But I mean, Botox ain't cheap. It's at least like $400, $500 every time you go, and you go a couple times a year. And I have super strong, not to brag, I have super strong forehead muscles. And if I do a surprised face, I have filing cabinets. It's a real thing. So I'm really training my face to not to not be expressive, but to just use my face in different ways. And I don't know. All of this to say, one thing I'm doing to help with fine lines around my crow's feet around my eyes is a sleep mask. And when you think sleep mask, oftentimes we think about the ones you get on an airplane. Well, if you've ever had the treat of getting a airplane face mask, they have the little elastic band. You put it around your head, and it's either too big or it's too small or it snaps or it's never the right fit. And the one that I have, I got it off of Amazon maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I've used the same one. I've washed it, I've dried it, I'm obsessed with it. It is silk. It's gotta be 4-5 inches thick. Yeah, in height. It's got a little cutout for your nose, but it wraps all the way around your head with Velcro, so you can adjust it to how big your melon is. It is something that I really think, because I sleep on my side and my face gets a lot of pillow action at night. If you are someone who is working on fine lines, wrinkles, or honestly, if you are spending money getting Botox, this is also something to preserve your investment. Wrap it around, Velcro that puppy on. It sometimes falls off. That's just the name of the game. Like once in a while I have to readjust it, and sometimes I wake up with it not on. I highly recommend it because I know at night if I'm finished reading my book, lights are off, I strap the mask around my eyes, and it's another added layer of my body knows that it's time to extra wind down. The next thing is, and I think I've spoken about this on previous podcasts, but it's been a while, especially after the hiatus, it's just, is simply a battery-powered alarm clock. I have been keeping my phone out in my kitchen to charge at night. I don't want it in my bedroom. I already definitely don't have any screens, any TVs. That's not happening in there. I just want the bedroom to be about sleep and just relaxation. But having a battery-powered alarm clock, it's been so nice. It still has a snooze. It still has an everything. And it's not... Everyone overcomplicates these things. I think that if you are someone who not struggles with sleep, but yes, if you struggle with sleep, but even if you are someone who just wants to have better sleep, maybe you have an Oura Ring, maybe you use that to track your sleep, maybe you use an Apple Watch or some type of wearable technology that tracks your sleep or tracks your hormones and your readiness. Having a little alarm clock, I think, would be a really interesting a really interesting control group control group. I don't know. It would be something really cool to add in just to see if the thought of your phone being next to you is doing anything subconscious. And it used to be where I would have it on airplane mode, but I also realized I feel like I want people to be able to contact me, so I'll keep it on, but just in the kitchen. And for me, the kitchen's very close to the bedroom. I can hear it. I keep it on loud, but it's still at least, we have some space in between us, but I can hear it if it goes off. And if I have a really early morning, a really early flight, or something really important, I'll set an alarm on my phone, keep it out in the kitchen still, and then I'll still set my room alarm for a little earlier and just have those as two backups. Because if I have to get up and turn my alarm off, we're up. I feel like this is going to be a quick aside, but those are my wellness recommendations. Those are some of the things that I've done for seasonal allergies, namely the Amazon air purifier and the mouth tape. I will put both of those into the show notes. I truly feel like since I took that hiatus of about 4 months away from the podcast, so much has gone on. It feels like my life has been a movie. I'm kind of a horror movie with some happy parts involved. And I don't know if I will ever really get into what happened, what's still going on. But I don't think I'm ever going to, I don't know a time when I would put that on a podcast. Some of it's my story to tell, some of it's not. And it's just been it has been a real 180 in life over the past 6 months. And for anyone who has messaged me on Instagram or sent a text, called, sent an email, requested something through the website, saying, hey, ready for the podcast to get back, or, oh, I just listened to this episode. It's an old one, but I hope you come back to it. I really appreciate that. It's not an ego thing. It's more of this podcast has brought me joy and a lot of, it feels purposeful in my life. And it's been about 7 years of doing it, and having that time away was necessary because not that I necessarily needed a break from the work of the podcast, but I know, having been in such a fragile state, honestly, over the past 6 months, it would have provided inauthentic value. It didn't feel right, and not like I'm trying to base everything on feelings, but there was some self-preservation that had to be happening. Either way, all of that to say, if you're listening now, that means a lot. And if you got any value out of this, let me know personally, or just leave it on Apple Podcasts, leave a review. That is the best way to help grow, sustain, and make sure other people hear about the podcast. Go into Apple, leave a review, leave us 5 stars, or just simply subscribe on Spotify. I'm happy to be back. I don't want to take this many more breaks, and I've got a fertility specialist that we're interviewing soon. I've got someone who is going to be talking about biohacking to work on immune systems coming on soon. So we have some great stuff in the pipeline. Really appreciate everyone listening, and even if it's one person and one person has gotten value, that is all I need. Everyone enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm about to go for a long walk and inhale all the pollen, exhale all the gnarliness of the world, and really just enjoy the day. But enjoy the rest of your day, your week, and I will talk to you next time.